great kavod to be here to commemorate the Yom HaHilula of the Tzadik of Raanana, Rabbi Yitzchak HaKohen Huberman, who perhaps is a name that is not so well known, but Be'ezus Hashem, we're trying to be mefarsim and disseminate his Torah so that his legacy can take its rightful place among many of the great luminaries of the Jewish people. Rabbi Yitzchak HaKohen Huberman was born in 1896 in Tafresh Nun Vav on the Yom Tif of Shavuos to his father Rav Asher Anshal HaKohen. He was Mimiyuchasei HaKohuna. Already at the age of 7, he was known to be a great masmid. He continuously learned, he did not cease, and already when he was 10 years old, he would learn with some of the older Bachram in the yeshiva by Rav Yaakov Mordechai of Balguri. So actually, Rav Yaakov Mordechai of Balguri was the predecessor of Rav Mordechai of Balguri, who was the father of the current Belzer Rebbe. He then went on to learn in the yeshiva Shem Yishmol in Sachachav, and my Elta Zeda, Rabbi Yehuda Leib Volman Hashem Yimkom Damai, was a chavrusa of his in Sachachav. Now during the war, the Tzadik Raanana, as he later became known after he moved to Raanana after the Holocaust, he escaped to Siberia during the Holocaust. Actually, during his stay in Siberia, he was a very faithful worker, and his overseers recognized the work ethic of this Tzadik, and they gave him at times special reprieve. At one time, his overseer took such a liking to him because of his work ethic. He said, okay, tell me what your request is and I'll accede your request. And Tzadik Raanana, he sort of went out on a line and he said, look, tonight is Purim, please allow me to participate in a minyan in a nearby village, in a Jewish village, and surprisingly, he was given that ability. Now, while he was in Siberia, he was forced, the decree upon him was to work on Shabbos. So how's he going to get out of it? His job was chopping wood. And he intentionally chopped off the tip of his finger so that he would be allowed to take rest and not to have to work on Shabbos. And they asked him, but you're a kohen, you rendered yourself a balmum. And he said, better to be a balmum than to desecrate the Shabbos. Now, the Tzadik Raanana was known to be a Baal Ruach HaKodesh. In fact, when the famous hijacking in Uganda, and there were people in Eretz Yisrael who had relatives on the flight, and they came to him in great worry and great anxiety about the relatives on the flight, and Tzadik Raanana says, no, you have nothing to be worried about. And then when the news spread that the terrorists said that in a few short hours they would carry out the brutal massacre of all of the passengers on these flights, Tzadik Raanana was visited by some of the relatives of those who were hijacked, and he said very definitively, nothing will happen to the passengers on that plane, and in fact, the Kach Hava. Interestingly, Tzadik Raanana's wife owned a little patch of land nearby their house. Now, they lived on the outskirts of Raanana, and when he was asked to move to the center of the city to have a more suitable lodging, he said he doesn't want to cause anyone damage because there were a lot of Mechalei Shabbos in Raanana at the time, and one time a certain Mechalei Shabbos on his block bothered him, unintentionally, but it really deeply troubled Tzadik Raanana, and Min HaShamayim, this person was punished very harshly, and Tzadik Raanana felt if he would be in the center of the city, witnessing the Chilul Shabbos would be too detrimental to the people who were Mechalel the Shabbos. Tzadik Raanana wrote Chidushei Torah on Kol HaTorah Kula, on the Nevi'im, on the Chumash Megillos, on all of Chumash, on Tehillim, on Medrash Rabbah, Medrash Tanchuma, Yalkut Shemoni, Eliyah Rabbah, Eliyah Zuta, all of Shas, and Shas Tshuvas Halacha, especially in Inyane Agunas. Tzadik Raanana was asked, it's interesting that he had an incredible power of memory until his last days, and he was asked, how does one try to preserve their memory? What kind of skula is there for one to have a good memory? It's interesting, they once asked Rav Ovadia Yosef that question, and Rav Ovadia said the way to have a good memory is V'lo sasuru acharei levavchem v'acharei einechem lema'an tizkaru. if somebody is careful to guard their eyes, the skula is leman tizkeru, it preserves their memory. But the Tzadik Raanana says, leman tizkeru va'asisem es kol mitzvosai. Good memory only comes with the observance of Torah. When one is meticulous to observe the Torah, that ensures and that preserves the faculty of memory. And in fact, somebody once asked Rabbi Aaron Leib Steinman about the Tzadik of Raanana, and Rabbi Aaron Leib Steinman said that Tzadik Raanana once told someone who asked him a question, Tzadik Raanana says, I'm going to a bris tomorrow, Eliyahu Hanavi will be in attendance, I will ask Eliyahu Hanavi. So we're talking about somebody who lived in our time, so to speak. He was nifter in 1977, and someone who openly had a conversation with Eliyahu Hanavi. So he was. They asked Rabbi Aaron Leib, why was he zoicha to Gilui Eliyahu? Rabbi Aaron Leib says he can't say for certain. And actually, they once asked Rabbi Aaron Leib. They once asked the Tzadik Raanana, how did he have this Ruach HaKodesh? And the Tzadik Raanana responded, I wish I didn't know why I had Ruach HaKodesh. Unfortunately, I do know why I have Ruach HaKodesh. But Rav Aaron Leib said it's because he lived a life of poverty. In fact, his talis katan, his tzitzis, was a patch upon patch upon patch. In fact, I have some of the letters that the Tzadik Raanana wrote to my grandfather, and clearly he was an ani ve'evyon. He even writes that he needed money to buy a talis katan. So we should be zoicha on Yom HaHilula. It's a wonderful opportunity to begin learning some of the chidushim of the Tzadik Raanana, and Baruch Hashem, we begin to disseminate his Divrei Torah weekly. You could sign up on our email list. Please contact us. You could send your message to office@rabbidg.com, or on our website, rabbidg.com. You could download this sheet about the history and the biography of the Tzadik Raanana, as well as weekly Divrei Torah. And he writes in the beginning of his Sefer that he gives a public notification that he has dedicated himself to be mispalel daily, that anyone who learns his Sefer and says his Divrei Torah to others, they will be saved from any tzara, if they need any Yeshua, ba'olam hazeh, ba'olam haba. The truth is, this is not only unique to the Tzadik Raanana, even though he pledged this. Actually, in the Sefer Hasidim, it says that when you learn the Divrei Torah of a Tzadik, it causes the lips of that Tzadik to move, and therefore the Tzadik whose Torah you learn will pray for you. So this is not a novel concept. This is a concept that's already documented in the words of the Rishonim. So we hope that the learning of all the Torah of the Tzadikim will be melitz for us. But perhaps even more importantly, and we'll conclude with this, Rabbeinu Yonah writes in Shari Tshuva about the importance of praising tzaddikim. Why is it so important to praise tzaddikim? Because when you praise a tzaddik, you are giving over the message that what is important in this world is the service of God. And when you relay the message that that which is of paramount importance is the service of Hashem, that is kavod shamayim. And the greatest zechus we can have